Okay, Chris, welcome to your new home.
I'm so excited. I miss staying in here.
Chris is not going anywhere, folks. Shane done told them, mi casa es tu casa.
There's a whoa!
Yes, Ryland is now married, but we are still working our way through the podcast timeline, and right now we are in the month of October, where Shane and Ryland renovated an entire barn for their cameraman, Chris. At this point, the wedding was on pause and Ryland had to put his game face on because he was being way too lackadaisical. I mean, how did he not take notice of the secret text messages between Shane and Chris talked about right in front of him? Hi, my name is Jem, and today we are going to reload Shane Dawson Podcast number 11.
I'm just sick of how minions are being represented, you know?
I agree.
We're more than just banana, you know? And I'm here to show the real side of minions.
Yes, and I'm representing, I don't know.
Yourself?
Well, I don't know if I'm me from 10 years ago, if I'm Justin Bieber, if I'm Kris Jenner. I don't quite
Chris looks really good today. I wonder how long it's going to take for Shane to acknowledge that.
know. I just didn't want to do drag today. Oh my God, Chris with the sunglasses? Oh my God, with the headset. That literally looks like you're in the plane.
Oh. This guy can't help but to gush over Chris. It's embarrassing.
Oh my gosh, you're like too cool for us. You're too cool to be here.
Dude, you got a proper cockpit, bro. You got a co-pilot in the back.
Oh my God, you do.
You know?
That mask is haunting behind him.
Thank you. Oh my God, and look at you, Ryland.
I'm Elastigirl.
I love it.
You're
Elastigirl.
I don't know what that means. I never saw the movie.
It's so good. I know what we're doing tonight.
You've never seen either of them?
Shane won't ever watch fun movies with me.
So this is the face Shane made when he first saw Chris.
Oh my God, Chris with the sunglasses? Oh my God, with the headset.
And this is the face Shane made when he saw Ryland. Okay, now let's go back to Shane falling all over Chris.
Wait, Elastic Girl. So she's made of elastic?
She can go whoosh, and her arm will extend 1,000,000 feet long.
That would be on the bottomest of my list of superpowers if I could have one.
You just don't know how it's utilized.
Unless it was my penis.
What are you gonna kill him
Just
while you're
throw
in?
it all the way. I don't know. I'm not into that superpower.
But The Incredibles is really, really good.
Really good.
It's like a very well made.
I literally trust you right now. Like, I trust you with my life. Like, I would do anything you said. I'd be like, no, I trust him. He's the pilot. Wow.
Honestly, you're selling the vibe.
Ryland is on some, if you can't beat him, join him kick.
Am I?
You should wear that
No way.
forever.
And the
For
shaved
real.
face really works with this look.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so nice.
Okay, Jared, you look good too.
Wait, Shane, I'm very confused though. You like famously hate the Minions, but you were campaigning for Jared to be a Minion.
That's why I'm here to really show the real side of a minion. You know? You hate what's being represented in the media as a minion. But in real, dude, we're just fucking people. It's just a show.
Whatever they want to identify as is fine in this house.
Chris sees danger.
What?
What? I was just checking.
Navigate
Jared's
us
camera.
away.
No, I was just making sure because I trust you. Whatever you need.
This plane cannot crash, Chris.
Hey, welcome back to whatever. Oh, the sunglasses.
No.
I know, Ryland, this is embarrassing. Shane can't even concentrate on the podcast because he's so distracted by Chris.
Welcome back to whatever the hell this is. Really, Halloween edition.
As if it wasn't obvious.
What did we do last Halloween?
Well, no, I think the lead up to Halloween is the fun of Halloween.
We literally went Christmas shopping.
The
on
decor. Oh my gosh, yeah, we did because you got to get the Christmas decor in early because it sells out fast.
Halloween. Wow, I trust you too. Like with that, I feel like you're like a cute Karen.
Oh, thank you. Elastigirl, but same thing.
Okay.
Okay, how does he not know calling someone a Karen anything is in no way a compliment? Ryland, the way Shane turned his neck was the clue he was throwing you shade.
Chris,
Yes.
there's a big thing that happened, and we kind of started to mention it in the last show, but then I kind of forgot to go back to it. You had surgery.
Oh, yes. I had a couple cysts removed, yeah.
Which, first of all, for you and for me, because
Shane, you guys are sis sisters.
Sister.
There's that connection they like to play up.
But I think Crumbles is giving me bad cholesterol.
Yes, of
We
course.
both have cis and high cholesterol.
Because Whoa! Yes. Remember? Okay, because in one of the previous shows, we were both talking about how our medical stuff and like we need to get our cysts checked or removed, and we're not doing it because like for some reason we're not. But Chris, tell us about your surgeries. Show us your scars, baby.
You better not, Chris.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're not. I mean, they're not big. They're tiny cysts. But
Weren't they like inch round or like 2 inch?
I guess. I mean, to me, they seemed really big. That big.
Big sisters.
It was
But,
concerning
so-
because you had 3 at
Big
once.
sister, little sister.
Well, I turns out I have 4.
Shane loves to play up the connection that he believes he has with Chris.
By the way, there was another one I didn't realize.
4 sisters.
But
Quadruplets.
Sorry.
I thought I was gonna get all of them removed, but they ended up just removing. There's one on my chest right here that they removed, and then there's one here that they removed, and there's 2 here. But then as I'm getting it done, the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, don't lift anything with this hand. The stitches will rip open, so don't lift anything." And like, also, we're not gonna do your right hand because then you won't have any hands to do anything with. Like, you can't lift anything. And
Even though Shane didn't say a word, Chris picked up right away on that sexual reference Shane was giving.
You have stitches in them?
huh?
It's
Yeah.
stitch. It's,
Yeah,
oh.
there's stitches in here, stitches in here. But yeah, so they left one arm that we're gonna do later. But after they as she's doing it, she's like, yeah, I wouldn't even lift much heavy stuff with this arm either, just because you have it in your chest, and like when you pull, those can pop open too. And I'm like, I have work tomorrow, and I lift film equipment and stuff. Like I have to, and she's like, you can't do that. Please don't. And I'm like, well, I need money. No one told me this. And thankfully, my boyfriend wasn't working that day and stepped in, and he helped me out. And he carried everything. Wouldn't let me touch anything. He was really wonderful. So that worked out.
Wow.
And then you guys also have been so kind. I felt so
Shane couldn't even let Chris praise his boyfriend without waiting for Chris to get to him to praise him for helping.
bad. But normally, I have to carry all the lights in from the basement. Is it a basement? From the basement. And Shane and you guys carried everything for me up here, and I feel really bad about it, but it's really appreciated.
First of all, don't feel bad. It gave me, not that I've ever not had respect for you, because I always do, but it gave me even more respect for you because it was so much work setting up all these lights and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, because there's a reason why in traditional media, there is a line drawn between talent and camera crew. It's a lot to ask Chris to run the technical aspect of the show while also being an on-air performer. So with the onslaught of non-traditional media, especially with YouTubers who are used to being the solo performer, editor, promoter of all their videos, one person is tasked to wear many hats. And that's understandable when you're working for yourself on your own channel. And I said this at the beginning when the show first started, that Chris was taking on a lot of responsibility.
I understood that.
Maybe that's the best way to do it.
What?
Oh my god! Oh, Chris, are you okay?
Oh my.
And a way to make it worth it to him was paying him a lot of money.
I need money.
Again, it's one thing to ask Chris just to be the cameraman. It's a whole other thing to ask him to perform as the 4th co-host.
So I'm like so grateful that you do that all the time. And I definitely want to help you more in the future because it was also kind of fun because it made me feel like I was a part of it. You know what I mean?
Thank
like
you.
when you're baking a cake instead of buying it and you eat it and everybody around you's like, this cake's so good. And you're like, I know, right? I made it. The same thing. So thank you for setting up. And actually,
What is his face? What is this? Why are they making baby faces at each other? Why?
this leads me into a question. What are we going to do with this show? On a real note. What?
What was that all about? Wow. Ryland does not like the podcast. You see the way he reacted to Shane's question. That was not a reaction of happiness. This could be nothing, but just to be sure, let's look at Ryland's instant reaction to that question and compare it to Jared and Chris.
Well, like, are we going to keep doing this? Should we keep doing this? We're going back to LA in January, so things are going to change a little bit. Should I build a set? Like, what do you think the future of this show should be? How are we all feeling? Do we want to keep doing this?
I absolutely want to keep doing this. This is my favorite time. Like, this is my favorite thing that I do all month. Like, I look forward to it. I like plan everything around it, and it's my happy place.
That is like,
It better be your happy place. They made a whole entire guest room and called it Chris's room. Couple months before the wedding, and Chris is having a spare bedroom in their house decorated and being called his room. If you didn't think any of these things going on was lighting a fire underneath Ryland's butt, you haven't been paying attention.
me with my cheat meals. Jared, how do you feel?
Every episode's getting better, so I'd love to continue it. That's kind of where I'm at personally.
Wow, you guys just changed my mind because I was going to quit.
But I mean, I don't want to have to convince nobody, you know. But I feel like that's where I'm at, you know.
Okay, I was kidding. I'll get back to that in a second. But Ryland, how are you feeling?
Good. I mean, I like it. It's relaxing because I don't have to produce anything. I just sit in, I have a good time, hear what you guys have to say, and...
Okay, Ryland says he likes doing the show. So maybe I'm off about my assessment on how he truly feels. Okay. Maybe he does like doing it and wants to continue.
I am a little concerned about building a set in LA, though, because we're there for only a few months out of the year.
Okay, so here's where I'm at, and I want to get real about this, which is why I'm asking all of you guys how you feel and how you feel at home. I really love doing the show. It is really consuming, though, because scheduling it and also trying to do other things, YouTube stuff and a movie thing, and also I edit it. I mean, I have...
That's good to hear. You edited. I needed to just hear that confirmation because I've been seeing a lot of stuff with editing. And now that I know Shane is behind it, I can say what I'm thinking. Even look at what he just showed just there. You see that? You see that? He had a chance to add clips, and the focal point of that clip was Chris. He's there. Jared's there. We don't see Ryland. But let's look at some other things, shall we?
Chris, you look like you sell, what is it, like salt something? Dead Sea salt lotion at the mall? No, come here, try it. It's $5. You're gonna love it. It's good. Come on, let me get your email address. I'll send you an email we ever do.
I don't know where the laptop is.
You don't really need it.
Okay.
Just fake it. You could use your phone if you have your phone.
Whatever.
No, you look good though. Like, I'm not gay or whatever, but like, I would suck your for sure. Are we gonna barbecue after this?
For sure, go to barbecue.
We got a burger.
We got sausages.
It's been hard for me to focus, to be honest with you. This
Chris,
whole
when
time.
you eat a sausage, do you think, like, do you have a moment where you like think it's a?
Sometimes.
What?
I knew it. It's hard not to. Here we go.
Take 6, A mark.
I'm sorry. Did you just not do that in Oh My God? I understood that. Somebody that I'm working with right now to help, which is great, but I'm still, it's still like 3 to 4 days of my week are fully podcast.
And that's without thumbnailing, promoting. Like, it's a big thing.
And then with ads, which gratefully some ads have been coming through, which is really exciting, but
Speaking on the business side of things for a bit, starting a podcast takes a lot of money up front to invest in, and Shane would have been operating in the red for a long time. AdSense alone wouldn't be enough to split between a cast of 4 people in addition to the cost of equipment, etc. And even now that they have sponsors, it will still take a bit more time for Shane to see a profit because he has to recoup all the costs of the original investment. All right, so let's see where this is going.
those I really like go all out, and it takes me all day to like edit the ad and add music and add this and add that, right? So I know the answer. The answer is like, should we down, what's the word? Scale back to where we edit less and there's less stuff going on and maybe it's not as crazy, but then I feel like I wouldn't be proud of it. So I don't quite know. I think we need to hire help, like a full-time editor maybe. And I thought about the set thing because even with Chris, I was like, you do so much with this. There's so much going on, these lights and this camera with like, I'll just do a pan so I can put this in. Lights, camera, light, camera, light, camera, light, camera. Like it's in Minion. Like bananas. It's a lot. So here's my other question. Chris, how would you feel if we built a set or did something where everything was always there forever, right? Like everything's set up all the time and you could just come in and just hang out and be talent and just talk. Would you like that, or would you feel weird because this is kind of the thing you like to do?
He wants to be talent, obviously. Who wants to be running around your house like a chicken with his head cut off? No one.
It's really interesting because we talked about it briefly earlier, and in my mind, like I'm your camera person, but this became a thing, and for just like practical reasons, it's incredibly tough to like. The entire time we're filming, I'm worried like, are they all recording? Is this in focus? Is this in focus? Is this focus? Is this focus? Is the light okay? And that's like all I'm thinking about the majority of the time we're recording. But it is incredibly almost too tough at this point. Yeah. So I mean, at least help in that regard would be really nice.
Ooh, I see what's going on. I see it. You go, Chris. You thugged it out for a couple of episodes, carrying equipment back and forth from state to state, only now to tell Daddy Shane how difficult it is for you. And what does Daddy Shane say? Don't worry your pretty little head, Pookie Bear. I'll take care of everything. What do you say to that, Ryland?
The problem with all these things is, though, yes, it would be great to have a studio, to have setup lighting, to have an editor, to have all of these things, but it's expensive. Like, that's very, very expensive. That requires having a lot of advertisers. To sustain everyone coming is also expensive. I mean, to run the show is expensive.
And Ryland, I'm not mad at you. You better watch your future husband's spending habit. He just gave his boo thang a promotion right before your eyes without consulting you. You know what? I'm going back to my first conclusion. Did you see how Ryland first answered the question after he made that noise? Let's go back and listen to his first answer.
Ryland, how are you feeling?
Good. I mean, I like it. It's relaxing because I don't have to produce anything. I just sit in, I have a good time, hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, okay, I get how he answered the question. The question Shane asked is if they should still do the podcast. And Ryland's answer was, I love doing the podcast. He didn't really answer the question. So I believe Ryland was speaking the truth. He does love doing the podcast. It's very easy for him to do. He just shows up and shows out. But he also knows that Shane's big dreams for the podcast will cost big money, and he's not down with that.
Hey, and here's the thing. I'm willing to put my money into this and like not make it back for a while. That's fine.
Quick! Somebody pick Ryland off the floor. He just fainted. Okay, he's back. Ryland, I see why you were stepping your foot on the gas with this marriage. Someone had to take control of the purse strings. Shane would have had you guys out on the street, and it would have made these last 7 years for you all for naught.
I just want to know that, like, first of all, that you guys are enjoying this, but also, like, it is kind of a weird segue from where I thought my career was going or something. Because, like, even we filmed a docuseries, like, a month and a half ago, and it's still not done yet because I haven't had time to edit it because of the podcast. But I do enjoy this.
Shane, this is much better than your doc series. And I said somewhere else, but Shane, if you did a series on Trisha Paytas, I'd watch. Of any one of your friends who dropped you, I'd watch that for the drama of it.
So I don't want to stop, but yeah, so there might be some changes coming. We don't know what they are, but I just want to let you guys know. But controversial opinion, actually not controversial probably, but I also think it would be cool to expand, like you said. Like, it would be cool, and we talked about this months ago, but, to have you have your own podcast, and maybe it's under my network if I make a network or my channel or whatever. And Ryland already has his own podcast, and I want to do sit-down interviews, like me one-on-one with somebody I'm interested in, because I miss doing those types of interviews. And like, Chris, whatever you want to do, baby, you can do. Like, it would be.
He's not lying. Right before our eyes, Chris has been elevated. Chris is your coworker who got the promotion with 0 qualifications and left you wondering, how did he get the job over me? Now, I'd tell you how, but I don't want my video to be age restricted.
Fun to expand it a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys want that, let us know, and we appreciate all the support and love.
I'm ready for this to become a tidal wave.
Yeah.
Take over the whole planet.
Oh,
Well, that kind of got aggressive, but back to the analogy, you know, let's get this wave bigger. You know?
I see what you're saying.
Even funner and even more awesomeness.
I agree.
Let's fly us there, Chris. Fly us there.
Thank you. I love you. Oh, I thought isn't that I love you in sign language or no?
What is?
Oh, that's I love you.
Isn't it like the rock on sign? Is that?
I have no idea.
Like this?
I trust you though.
I think it's. I don't know if this is right. I think this is I love you in sign language. I think.
Well, I love you.
Why do I feel like they talked about this before? I'm gonna see if I can find it. And if I do, I'll put it in here. If not, okay, forget I even said it. It seems like I never left, but I'm back. I actually stopped what I was doing and did an entire search because I know I seen this before. And then I started confusing myself like, maybe I didn't see it and this is what I saw and I'm deja vuing everything. No, I seen this. Before I play this clip, I remember this episode because at the end, they were being offensive about sign language, you know, masking it with jokes. These guys think ignorance is funny. I was going to put them on blast, but then I was like, let me just try and keep this podcast about the relationship dynamics, even though sometimes I sidetrack, but this was early on. They're going to be mocking sign language, but watch what happens here.
Thank you so much for watching and enjoying the show. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Oh, don't clap. I don't want to wake up the baby.
Oh, what did they say when it's like, yeah, finger waves?
Oh yeah. Jazz hands. Is it jazz hands? Is that what we're doing?
It's honestly the respectful thing to do.
To who?
I've seen a video on YouTube.
This looks silly.
I've seen a YouTube video about it.
Isn't this like sign language? Or am I making that up? Oh God, I don't know if that's
Wait,
right.
no, this is. Oh, Chris is canceled.
In fake woke news.
Oh, I was asking. I was asking.
This is something for can I motorboat your
Oh my god.
Hey,
Thanks for asking though.
I just YouTubed
Yeah,
it.
they-
This is it.
consent. I'm big on consent, guys.
This is American Sign Language for applause.
A little different than our finger
Yeah,
wagging.
I mean, were we mocking sign language by doing this?
No, we were wagging.
Okay, that's a good one. We were canceled for offending sign language.
The boys misrepresent sign language, leading to their demise on Twitter. Womp womp.
Oh, but all the people that use sign language have said that
Well, they signed.
No.
That's what they
no,
do.
they said
They expressed.
She's lying. She said she's going to be
The boys' entire episode about being canceled. Now recap real quickly. Cancels, unwoke, instant. I did see reels going around where like sign language teachers that teach you in very digestible ways.
on stage.
Do you know what
talking about?
they freestyle battle rap?
Yes. Oh, I can't.
My boyfriend and
That'd be
I.
dope.
My boyfriend and I, if we're like far from each other and we can't say it, or we don't want to say it out loud, or he's nervous about it, we'll just like really quickly be like, "Because that's I love you in sign language."
Oh, I thought you said if you fart in front of each other.
Oh,
I was like, why would you have to signal like, hey guys, I gotta fart?
oh no.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
It's annoying here because they act like they never had this conversation before, because they did in prior episodes. Chris said that he uses I love you in sign language with his boyfriend, so I don't know why they're acting like they don't know what it is now. Okay, whatever. He says this is between him and his boyfriend and that's what they do. Shane says, oh, that's so sweet, and how much he loves it. And now notice that a couple of episodes later, Shane is going to act as though he forgot. Yet he knows to hijack the special form of communication that Chris said is between him and his boyfriend to make it something special between him and Chris.
My boyfriend and I, if we're like far from each other and we can't say it, or we don't want to say it out loud, or he's nervous about it, we'll just like really quickly be like, "Because that's I love you in sign language."
Thank you. I love you. Oh, I thought that isn't that I love you in sign language or no?
What is?
Oh,
it?
that's it.
I think this is I love you in sign language. I think.
Well, I love you.
Wow.
He's half German, he's so bright, he's a factual delight. Are you ready for some fun? German facts with Chris.
Chris,
Yes.
you have a German fact for us.
Oh, I do. Well, I have a couple. I don't know. Which
Ooh.
one. I mean, one of them's really fast. Can I say both?
Well, yes, and don't forget to do the German accent.
Oh no, I haven't done this in a while. I feel like I need to go back to Germany real quick. Christopher, that's my dad in my head. All right. Gummy bears are a German invention.
I can't wait for when Shane asks Chris to do his Peruvian facts in a Spanish accent. It's coming.
Proof now that Apple fucks up our phones. Don't sue me. Allegedly. Conspiracy that they fuck up our phones whenever they have a new phone dropping because they want us to think our phones are broken. We need a new one.
I think
and
they
now I'm angry.
100% do that.
Right? It was out of nowhere. My phone has been so incredible. I talk about how much I love my phone all the time. I'm like, I love this phone. Just broken. Stop working.
You know, it's so funny because like I always have an older phone because they're so expensive. I can't buy newer ones, but so I'm usually a few models behind, and like.
Yo, you guys, Chris is so slick with it. Y'all, let me know if Daddy Shane got Chris a new iPhone. Let me know if I missed it.
And I've gone to Apple about this, and I'm like, hey, so why is it so slow? Like, just use it. See how slow and weird and laggy it is. And the employee's like, oh, it's just an old phone. That's why. And I'm like, no, but it was fine until like a new phone came out. And he was like, oh, no, that's not related. I'm like, it feels pretty related.
If you only come to my channel for the Shane Dawson Reloaded series, let me fill you in on another video I did. After the Try Guys cheating scandal, I did a video using Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein of Frenemies as an example of how to maintain healthy boundaries with your coworkers. I had a list for 5 rules one should follow, and one of the rules was about text messaging. Now, depending on the type of job you have, there may be legitimate reasons to text each other outside of work hours. And if so, you should always remain professional. Shane has a podcast in which he works with 3 other people. I am positive they use text in order to keep everyone up to date on topics for the show. A group chat seems like the best way for this to happen. Frenemies had a group chat that had Ethan, Trisha, and their producer Dan. And you know who else? Yep, my girl Hila, Ethan's wife, was also in the mix. Now, Hila wasn't a part of Frenemies, but she was in the group chat. And as well, there were other names of people who were blocked out. I'm not saying that you should have your wife or your husband as a part of your work group chat. I'm just pointing out what was going on Frenemies. Even on Frenemies, although there was a group chat, there was also another private chat that consisted of just Trisha and Ethan. But I'm not going to discuss that in this video. If you want to watch that video, you can watch it. But all of that just to say is, I wouldn't be surprised if, although there is a Shane Dawson podcast group chat for work purposes, I wouldn't be surprised if there is also a private chat between Shane and Chris. And if this is true, trouble can arise. Can I give you an allegory right quick? Imagine you're beside me and we're standing outside. And I point way out into the distance and I say, look at that tree over there. And then you look and you say, what tree? I don't see anything. We walk over to the spot to where I pointed and then I show you a seed. And I say, there it is. You look at me and then you say, Jem, that's not a tree, it's a seed. All right, so I'm asking you guys now listening, who's right? It's not a trick question. You would be right because it is a seed and it's not a tree. Now, if the seed was then covered in soil, watered, with light from the sun, within a couple of years, yeah, there will be a tree. But if the wind blows the seed into the cement and it gets stuck on the bottom of a passerby shoe, the seed would never have the chance to grow. I say all of that to say, a lot of times I see things that have potential to have a determined outcome. However, it doesn't have to have a determined outcome. Exchanging texts with a coworker doesn't always lead to an affair, but the potential is there. And if you see the potential, you can act accordingly to change the outcome. So when I do my little analysis of certain people, there are a lot of times I see things I don't say because a lot of what I see are just seeds. And if I point them out, you'll tell me, hey, Jem, those are just seeds. But what I see is a seed that's taking root. The debate in my mind is, should I always say something now as soon as I see it, or should I wait until after the rain when the plant sticks its head from above the ground? I noticed something a couple of episodes ago. Chris was telling a story, and I left his story out because it was an incident that happened to him at the airport with the TSA. But he said something and it really stuck with me. I wanted to say it, but I'm like, let me just sit on it. So I waited, and I waited. But let me show you what I saw.
Chris.
Yeah.
You texted me saying that you had a really good story for the podcast and it happened at the airport.
Oh.
And you sent a lot of emojis of like embarrassed wanting to die.
Yeah, at the airport, I had my dick touched by TSA for the first time ever. It was very interesting. So I had to go through TSA twice. The second time, for some reason, was way worse than the first time. And when I went through, I heard like a sound, and I looked over, and there's like a body drawing, and there was a red box on my dick, just like where my crotch
Okay,
was.
and
there
did
a
you see
question
the
mark?
photo?
So there was a red box on my dick, and I was like, what is that? And then this guy walked up, and he's like, hey, so I'm gonna have to inspect the genital region. I just want to make sure I have your consent before I do that. And I was like, what? And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, why would that even happen? And he was like, various reasons. Do I have your consent? And like was like very rush and pushy about it. And I was like, I guess so. And I figured he'd just like pat around it or whatever. But he like pulled off my button and like looked he like looked in my pants and like shoved his hand in my pants and was like feeling around my boxers and like straight
What if you
up,
got hard?
and he got like a handful of like just
Stop
balls.
bragging.
No like he just like he grabbed the full
I'd
thing
probably get.
and was like reaching under in the gooch and stuff. Like
Why?
he
What was he
felt
looking for?
everywhere. I guess because that's
Chris was groped, and it was an uncomfortable experience for him. But something was detected in his private area, and as expected, someone would have to search that area. Unless we find out later down the line that the agents rigged the machine in order to cop a feel on passengers they're attracted to, we just have to expect that these things may happen to us at the airport. Oh, and he even mentioned that he didn't think the TSA agent was gay, not that he would know. And he said not that he would know, but he didn't think the guy was gay.
Did he seem gay?
Oh.
Oh, that's gay.
what does seeming gay mean?
It's quite the move, honestly.
Yeah, what
if
do
you
you
work
mean?
at TSA, I mean,
He seemed very masculine. He did not present as gay at all. But he didn't have any tells.
Okay, but this is the thing. Chris said he texts Shane. Listen closely.
Never had that happen ever. And I walked out and I was like, oh my god, I feel so violated.
I still don't understand why.
And I
What were they
texted you.
doing?
After he walked out, he said, and then I text you, meaning Shane, right after it happened.
I still don't understand why.
And I
What were they
texted you.
doing?
He's looking at Shane. He didn't say he texted the group. But for further clarification, Shane did say at the beginning of the story that Chris texted him what happened.
Chris,
Yeah.
you texted me saying that you had a really good story for the podcast and it happened at the airport.
Oh.
And you sent a lot of emojis of like embarrassed wanting to die.
He had a story for the show, and then we see Shane on the show saying, tell us the story. And Shane is acting like this is the first time he heard the story. Now, when I heard this part, I didn't believe him. I believe Chris told Shane the entire story over text. Now, do I have proof? No. But I base my hypothesis on the idea that a lot of times on shows, people discuss things ahead of time, and they purposely act clueless for the audience's sake when the cameras are rolling, just to get a discussion going. So, let's say Chris texted Shane saying he had a good story for the podcast with a lot of emojis. There's no way Shane said, okay, great, can't wait for you to tell me the story on the show. I believe Shane said, great, you have a good story, tell me what happened. Let's hear the highlights of the story again.
He like pulled off my button and like looked he like looked in my pants and like shoved his hand in my pants and was like feeling around my boxers.
Notice how Shane edited the story.
So I had to go through TSA twice.
And notice how Ryland repeatedly said he would be turned on if it happened to him.
He just like he grabbed the full
I'd
thing
probably get.
and was like reaching under in the gooch and stuff. Like
The story to them is not presented in a way of discomfort, but in a way that is titillating. Now imagine Shane reading Chris's description of the incident in text form. Now you tell me, is this an interesting topic for a show? Or is this just straight up sexting in disguise? But wait, there's more. A couple of episodes later, Chris tells us a story where he thought he had monkeypox.
You do have monkeypox, I think. Or no. Or you
If
thought
you
you
have-
did.
and then she was asking me all these questions. She's like, have you been intimate with anyone recently? And I'm like, yes, I'm in a relationship. She's like, male or female? I'm like, male. She's like, oh, it's spreading worse in the gay community. And I was like, oh no. And I texted Shane this.
Here's what I will say. I knew it wasn't monkeypox because that I just knew. Like I usually like I saw it and I was like, okay, it's probably an allergic reaction. I knew it wasn't monkeypox.
And again, he said he texted Shane. Not only did he text Shane, he also sent Shane a pic of his body.
Like I saw it and I was like, okay, it's probably an allergic reaction. I knew it wasn't monkeypox.
What body part? I don't know. But the same way in which Chris told Shane a story that could pass for sexting is the same way he could send him a pic of his upper body that could pass for a body shot. I gave an example in my other video of going to work and showing a coworker your vacation pictures and, oh, look at my sunburn, while you just happen to be wearing a bikini. So, is my tree still a seed? Maybe. But I still had to let you all know what was going on because look what happens here. I tell you, when I saw this, my mouth and Shane's mouth dropped. Roll it.
Okay, so our first sponsor of the day is one of my favorite sponsors ever, and that's because they were our very first sponsor ever. The Breeze Comforter is my favorite. It keeps you cool throughout the night. But don't just take my word for it. Take Chris's and his mystery man.
The bedding's so comfortable, my boyfriend and I don't want to wake up. Right, babe?
Wow. That was weirdly personal. I felt like I was in bed with Chris. That was okay.
I bet you Chris sent that video straight to Shane's phone. When you see little things on their own, it doesn't have to mean anything. It's when you put these little things together. For those of you who think Chris's video is not a big deal, did you hear what Shane said?
Wow. That was weirdly personal. I felt like I was in bed with Chris. That was okay.
Yeah. Shane said the video was intimate because it was. Shane picked up what Chris was throwing down. And if you're going to tell me Chris only did the video in bed because of who the sponsor is, let's look at how Jared promoted the same sponsor on an earlier episode.
My favorite thing they make is the Breeze Comforter, which is made for hot sleepers like myself. But don't just take it from me. Take it from one of our beautiful testimonials.
Huge thank you to Buffy for lacing up Shane's guest room with the Breeze Comforter. I myself normally don't even use comforters or any kind of blanket. They just make me hot. I wake up in a pool of my own sweat. But thanks to their technology, I woke up cool, dry, refreshed, and feeling like $1,000,000. Growers unite.
Wow, he killed that.
Yeah. And if you're still not getting it, I want you to tell me if you got your partner's phone, and I'm not telling you to get your partner's phone, okay? Just think about it. If you got your partner's phone, and in that phone, you saw text messages mentioning hands going down pants, pictures of their coworker without a shirt, video of the coworker in bed, you're telling me you wouldn't feel some type of way about it? Chris is good, y'all. He's good. There's a way in which to go about getting involved with a couple while maintaining an air of innocence about you. And he's found that way. Now, Shane is the one who started all of this by being way too familiar with Chris. But Chris, if I were you, at the very least, stick to the group chat and not the private chat. And let the seed remain a seed. We are still counting down the 2022 podcast episodes until we get into the new year, and you don't want to miss the big twist that happens in the next episode. Stay tuned.